not very good look on Bitcoin. We are breaking down out of this bear flag. We talked about it last week, right? If this was going to be continuing to struggle at 90,000 or 92, 94,000, if we couldn't get back above these levels here, this would probably end up starting to fail. And so far, that's what it's doing, right? We're failing. We're breaking down here. And if we end up losing this $88,000 level here, we'll probably end up seeing 85 for that next target, 85, and then potentially down to 80,000. So if this is a confirmed breakdown here, this is not a good look, and this would probably end up seeing 85 and 80,000. And worst case scenario, we'll probably end up seeing 70, 76, 75,000. Because yeah, I mean, that's the big kind of support level down here that we would need to hold. Worst case scenario, this was that previous all-time high spot back in like March last year, and then this is the exact level it came down to during those April lows here, right at that $75,000 level, and that's what, you know, kind of printed that low for that upside to 125. So yeah, not a very good look so far on Bitcoin. If we break down out of 88, this would probably end up seeing 85 and then 80. So that's Bitcoin for you. S&P and Qs. So I think Qs is a little bit weaker from Friday. You can see, I mean, this, you know, kind of printed that nice little bullish hammer candle here on Thursday, following with that Friday candle here. Not a very good look. We're still above the moving averages, so I'm not completely ready to flip bearish, but I do have some, you know, stocks I'm watching to the downside if this wants to continue the downside this week. So not really a full bias upside or downside this week. I'm just going to be watching how it opens up Monday, and we'll see from there. This is definitely going to be a week to probably be a little bit more cautious and keep, you know, keep a, you know, kind of open mind, right, for the week, because you know, you never know what you can see this week. We could see some downside, we could see a reversal back up, right? We don't really know what we'll see this week just based off this chart. I'm not really too convinced this is a, you know, a reversal down or a potential reversal back up. So I'm not really going to be looking at too many upsides or too mech downside watches for the stocks. But yeah, Q's a little bit weaker. This was because AVGO, I think, earnings kind of dragged down the tech sector a little bit more than the S&P. You can see the S&P was still not a great candle, but not as bad as Q's. Pretty much came up to that 690 all-time high spot, reversed, but we're still same as Q's, right? We're still above the moving average here. But we'll be watching how it reacts at these, you know, EMAs here down here at 21 and the 50. So we'll see with that. And then as for the small caps, right, IWM basically hit all-time highs this week or last week, broke out of that 252 kind of previous all-time high spot, got up to 258, and we're still above the all-time high spot, all right, the 252 spot. So as long as they can hold that, you know, we'll probably end up retesting it this week, and we'll just have to see the reaction here at this 252 spot. But yeah, so far it doesn't look too bad. The weekly still closed above that 252 spot, so we'll basically see how this opens up. But the monthly, I mean, that last month's candle was just super bullish. I just don't see how we can see any downside on this, but obviously this can easily get dragged down by the overall market, depending on like how the Qs and stuff reacts this week. So if the Qs end up reversing and printing a lot of downside, this can easily get dragged down too. So definitely keeping an open mind on that as well. So that's kind of just the overall market there. And as for the stocks I'm watching, so you can see I only have like 2 downside stocks I'm watching, and then a lot more upside. I mean, these are kind of just stocks that are setting up, that aren't really set up right now for upside, but all these stocks up here are going to be the ones I'm really going to be watching this week, and I'll be going through the 2 that I'm watching for the downside. So I have IREN as my number 1 downside watch. we are basically just right at this $40 level support. You can see we look like we were trying to print this hammer candle here on Thursday, following with this rejection at the 9 EMA. Just it seems to have a lot of troubles here on the downside of this moving averages, right? You can see we're just rejecting a lot here at this 50 EMA, and then the 9 EMA is now trending below this as well. So we can easily see a lot of downside here if we can get below 40, right? Obviously, if the markets are weak this week, this will see some downside here. And if we look at the monthly, I mean, we can easily see this previous IPO high here at 28. That would be kind of the ideal spot if this does end up, breaking down out of this $40 level. We'll probably end up coming down to 28, right? That's kind of the spot that I'll be looking at taking, obviously some long-term buys here. This would be the ideal spot I don't want to see. But yeah, I mean, that's a kind of an easy, spot that I would be watching for downside, right? Obviously, I'd want to target 35 and then 31st, but the big overall picture, if this end up selling off here, it'd probably end up coming down to 28. So that's gonna be my first downside watch. Amazon is another one I'm gonna be watching, right? If we can break down out of 225, I do like it for downside to 222 and 215. Those would be the two kind of downside targets I'll be watching for Amazon. And you can see somewhat of, I would say this is more like an A- setup, but I mean, still, you can see the weakness here on Amazon. Weekly chart similar, not as weak as Iran, but I like this for downside just based off the chart on the daily chart. So those will be my two watches to the downside. My upside watches are going to be, I think my number one was going to be LLY. Yeah, LLY. This is in the health sector, and honestly, if the markets do end up being weak, we will probably see the health sector be a little bit stronger. That's just how it typically goes, right? Markets are weak, we'll see some sectors get some money flowed into it, and usually health sectors are kind of the ones that are inverse to the market. So if we can get above 1130 on LLY, I do like this for upside to 1152 or 1052, 1073, and 1100, right? Back up to these all-time high spots. So I do like this. I mean, if we look at the weekly and the monthly chart, already printed a really nice candle here off this previous all-time high spot at 978. So that's why I like it. Not a lot of selling pressure based off this volume 2 weeks ago. And yeah, I like this. It's starting to already kind of show some support here. So I like this for the upside. And I also like Pfizer. Pfizer will be another one I'm watching. This is obviously similar to LLY, right? Same sector. So if that's going to end up being pretty strong, then I do expect this to be another one that's going to be printing some nice moves to the upside. If we can get above 26, I like this little small flag here. Weekly chart, I think, looked decent, right? Kind of looking not too bad here. I mean, if we look at overall wise, I mean, it's just I'm not really too bullish on like long term on this. I just like this for a quick nice play this week if this ends up being strong. So if we can get above 26.15, I like this for upside to 26.5, and then potentially 27.5 would be that second target. I do like LLY a little bit better, so that would be kind of my number one watch, and this would be number two. And also I do like TWLO for upside as well. I'm not too confident in this, but I mean, this Friday's candle, I mean, with the market really kind of super weak, a lot of names down big percentages. This was only down like not even 1%, so this held up pretty well with the market. And obviously we had that post-earning gap flag here, breakout, two small volumes on this pullback to the moving average. So if we can break it back above 135.6, I do like this for upside. And I'll probably be targeting, obviously these recent highs here at 138, but then the big targets would be 140 and 150. Let me see what the weekly chart looks like. Weekly chart looks really good still. So yeah, that would be kind of like my watch to the upside as well. This would probably need the overall markets to be strong this week too, so we'll be watching that. CLSK, I mean, this has been blue balling me over the last like 3 weeks. Like, I mean, this has been wanting to break out so many times. It just hasn't. That 15.5 would be that kind of that key spot that we'll want to watch. That would be like the safe play here to take it above 17 or 15.5. But I mean, so far this doesn't look too good, right? I mean, just nasty candles here, a lot of rejection there. So I don't know if the markets do end up reversing back, then I like this for upside above 15.5. Apple, another one that I'm kind of watching as well. Let me see what this weekly chart looks like. I mean, it's decent. I mean, we broke out of all-time highs, or this big base here at 277, and so far we're holding that spot here. I mean, there's plenty of times it's almost kind of we're trying to break back down here into this range, and it just held. So honestly, if this can get above 280, I'll potentially look at watching this, but I'll keep this on the side as well. And then QBTS would be another one I'm watching. This is in the quantum sector, so you know, if we can get some news on quantum, because I'm not really too sure if quantum's ready to, you know, continue this move up, but if we can get some news or get some flow into quantum, I like this one. I think QUBT is another good one. I think INQ is a little bit weaker, but QBTS is super strong. If we end up getting some, you know, some flow into this, safe play would be taking this above 29. You can see this flag here. I mean, this has been forming since Monday of last week, this flag here, and it's just not ready yet. But I do like this if we do end up seeing some upside here. And then some stocks that I'm watching, I guess for the next couple weeks or whatever, they're setting up soon. Google, this was a little bit better. I don't know about this anymore. I like RKT. I like this weekly chart on RKT more than the daily, but I mean, I think with interest rates coming down, this will start seeing some more upside. You can see this breakout here was huge on the weekly, huge weekly candle here from like 3 weeks ago, and then pretty small pullbacks here to the moving average here. So we could probably see the 90 MA tapped here on the weekly before we see any more upside on that. So we'll keep this on watch as well. EOSC, I really like this. This kind of same thing with CLSK was like flirting with me. I took a loss on this last week before it ripped. You know, obviously I respect my rules, so can't be mad about taking that trade. But yeah, weekly chart still looks good, and this is probably been one of the strongest stocks here in the market over the last few months. So I like this as well. Not a very good candle from Friday, but we'll see about this one. This is also going to be kind of just pushed to the side. We'll be watching that one. RR, same thing, kind of as EOS, just breaking out of this wedge here and back down into this range. We'll see how it reacts around there. NBIS, same thing, right? I really like this long term wise, but so far still just trading inside this range. So we'll be watching for the reactions around 82 and 102. Lemonade, I was watching this over the last few weeks, just not really trading really nice. I mean, it's just kind of just slowly grinding up. I mean, just a lot of just chop, really. I mean, just slowly grinding up. I don't think there's any tradable action here. But we'll see. I mean, if this can get above like 82, I'll potentially be watching that. I think that's it. I think there's one more stock that I really liked. I think it was on Baba. Not a fan of trading China names, but can't deny this setup here. I mean, this huge wedge on the daily chart. Printing lower highs, higher lows, getting super tight, getting coiled. I mean, if we can break out above like 160, this will look good. But obviously, I mean, trading China is just super risky at this point. So well, I'll be watching this as well. And these are just a bunch of names I was watching over the last few weeks. A-Lab, RKLB. This one already kind of made the big move. I missed that one. I missed ASTS. What is this one? Of course, it's lagging. And Wi-Fi crashes. Nice.